what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest couple of physique updates and posing videos from Behrouz Tabani. So today is Monday. We've got 4 days until the prejudging, which is going to be Friday night for open bodybuilding. And we've only got 5 days until the finals on Saturday. I've been very impressed with some of what we're seeing from Behrouz, particularly this first video. Just the structure that Behrouz has. I keep imagining what he's going to look like next to some of these other open guys that he's never faced before, because he is, I've talked about this a few times before, but he's got the size, he's got the condition, and he's also got this really aesthetically pleasing shape. And I think about that like when we talk about how well Urs Kalasinski could do at the Olympia and how he could be top 10 off the merit of his condition and his shape. Behrouz also has the condition and shape, but a lot more size than Urs has. And just a few days ago, I think it was 4 days ago, Dennis James was talking about Behrouz and gave his body weight. And he said Behrouz was weighing 268 pounds. And you can see in these videos, Behrouz is peeled. That's a big guy for this type of condition, this type of shape, that small of a waist, that type of a taper. And I know that people are still arguing, well, his lower body is still not big enough to contend with these top 6 guys. I still don't really agree with that. I think that Behrouz has brought up his lower body tremendously. I mean, a few years ago, I think you could definitely make that argument. But again, I would say when you look at a show like the Dubai Pro this year that he won, he beat some top Olympians. William Bonac and Antonio Burton, at both of their last Olympias, they were right outside the top 6. And I think Behrouz has beaten them relatively easily, and in Bonac's case, several times. And again, Bonac was 7th at his last Olympia. And I think between Behrouz and Bonac at that Dubai Pro, it was Behrouz all day. So I don't think the lower body has been really holding him back. And then again, I would say Neckzilla has some of the biggest, craziest legs in the bodybuilding world right now. And Behrouz not only beat him, but Neckzilla wasn't even close to Behrouz in the placings. So yes, having big, freaky legs matters to an extent. But I think Behrouz overall is pretty complete, and he has those 3 things that I mentioned going for him. He's got the size, he's got the condition, and he's got a great shape. And I think those 3 things beat freaky legs. Because I really don't think that Behrouz's legs are disproportionately small anymore. They're not going to be as big as some of the other guys on the Olympia stage for sure. But I think he's brought him up to a point where they really match his physique and they balance out well. And I think that's more what matters than just having the biggest, freakiest legs on stage. When you have all these other attributes going for you, I think Behrouz is going to be very, very dangerous. And I think this is going to be, this 2025 Olympia being his first, is going to be one that people talk about for years to come. I think wherever he places, it's going to surprise a lot of people. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, next up in the news, kind of the opposite of the Behrouz updates. Another update from Derek Lunsford at 5 days out. This was from his YouTube channel. And Derek, again, is showing a leg day workout and really only showing his legs in the physique update. And to be honest, I don't really understand this. Like, Derek hasn't been posting any other type of physique updates, really. When he's posing, when he's showing off anything, it seems like the past maybe 5 real updates that we've seen from Derek are just him like rolling up his shorts and showing his legs. And I would say his legs do look bigger here than usual. I mean, he did just do leg day, so of course they're going to be pumped up. But, I mean, I feel like he's trying to show off that he has brought up his legs and he's, I guess, maybe added size. But I'm kind of confused as to why, like, those are the only physique updates that we're seeing from Derek. Because, like, yes, his legs look bigger, but I don't think they look that crazy impressive compared to some of the other guys, like a Good Vito, for example. And I just don't really get it. I mean, they look bigger. They don't look like he's in shape. It looks like he's in shape. I see people saying, oh, he looks like he's in the off season or whatever. He's clearly in shape. He's got pretty deep separation in the legs, but they don't look crazy dry, I guess would be the word. But I said this a week ago when we looked at all the recent physique updates from Samson, from Hottie, from Nick, from Derek, that I felt like Derek's were the least impressive. And I think this was over a week ago at this point because he was only showing his legs. And now here we have another update just showing his legs, and I still feel the same way. But this is the thing. I keep saying this, like, we got to be careful with Derek, even though these updates, at least to me, maybe to you, they seem very impressive. To me, they seem the least impressive of the updates that we've seen from these guys. But this was also the case with Derek for the Arnold, and we got to look back at what Derek did in 2025, whether it was controversial or close with Nick in Pittsburgh or not. On paper, Derek so far has won the two biggest shows of the year, the Arnold Classic and the Pittsburgh Pro, the two biggest, deepest lineups, one of them, the Arnold, including Mr. Olympia Samson Dauda. So it wouldn't really surprise me if we sit here and say, well, these updates don't look that impressive. He doesn't look that crazy. He's only showing his legs. It won't surprise me if we sit here and say that, and then he wins the Olympia and gets the quote-unquote triple crown, they're trying to call it now. Because on paper, Derek has had the best year in 2025. You could really say out of any bodybuilder, even if it was close with Nick at Pittsburgh, put that to the side. Those were the two deepest, most competitive lineups of the year, and Derek won them both. And I've seen some prediction videos and prediction posts on Instagram where people have Derek. I'm seeing Derek in 5th and 6th place in some people's predictions. I think he's going to surprise people. I do get that. I also agree. I don't think his updates are as impressive as Nick's or as impressive as Samson's or Hottie's. But he kind of has proven he's that type of guy where that doesn't even matter, and then he comes in and wins. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, next up in the news, the latest physique update from Mike Sommerfeld. And look, Mike is starting to grow on me a little bit in the sense that I think, honestly, of all the classic physique guys, even though a lot of the conversation has been negative, he's really been the most exciting guy this past week and a half going into the Olympia. He's probably generated the most discussion, the most drama, the most interest in the classic physique lineup over the last 2 weeks. All the conversation has been about Mike. He's at least giving us something to think about, something to talk about, something to look forward to, whether it's this weigh-in drama, the height drama, some of the videos that Mike has posted where he's like acting kind of weird with the people that he's filming with. And remember, before even all this height controversy stuff, he had that weird like back and forth with Urs Kalasinski of all people. But to Mike's credit, he is the on-paper favorite, and he is also the guy that most people are talking about the week before the show. And I think if we're being real, it's probably the most interesting storyline going into the Classic Physique Olympia. But in this physique update, I really do wonder if Mike is going to make weight. To me, he looks really big in this update, really muscular, and feels like, yes, he's got classic attributes for sure. But if I didn't know he was in classic physique, if I didn't know that's where he was competing, I could be convinced that this was a 212 Olympians update. That's how big he looks. Now, to be fair, he's never missed weight at the Olympia before. But could this year be different with all this conversation around the heights and the weights? I do think there's a chance that it could. But here's the thing, like when we talk about Mike in this context, I don't think the conversation is, will Mike be out of the Olympia? Will he be disqualified? That's not what I think is going to happen, and that's not what I want to happen either. So I think if Mike doesn't make weight, it's probably going to be because he misses the height that he thinks he's going to be in. So he thinks he can be 212, can't be 212. I think if he's one weight division down, he'll just do something extreme to get down to that weight in time. Now, where I think that plays in as an important factor is we saw what happened when Terrence Ruffin had to do that. He was runner-up the year before, and because of that, he dropped to 6th because he just didn't look like himself. And I think that is the more likely scenario with Mike. If he doesn't make weight, it's not that I think we're not going to see him compete. It's not that I think he's going to get disqualified. I think it's that he's going to probably have to do something pretty extreme to then make whatever the weight is that he has to be if he does miss the weight. And I think that's just going to impact his look on stage pretty negatively. That's what I think is the worst case scenario for Mike. I don't think we see a situation where even if he misses weight, he's just out of the Olympia. I don't think that happens. And I was thinking about this earlier. I mean, honestly, when you think about the fact that I was rewatching my video yesterday, and when you think about the fact that nobody has ever been disqualified from the Classic Physique Olympia, at least that we know of, because of missing weight, and it's really like, when you think about it, do we really even want to see that happen to anybody? I mean, yeah, the rules are the rules, and they should be enforced. But do we really want to see anybody, especially like a lot of these guys from other countries, do this whole Olympia prep, come here, stay here, travel here to compete in the Olympia, then they show up, and let's say they're off by a pound. I mean, what do we want to happen? Do we really want them to be kicked off the Olympia stage, disqualified from competing? I don't really think we even want to see that happen. So I think this is like the devil's advocate argument for if they are going to be a little bit loose on the height and weight restrictions. The devil's advocate argument is, I can see a good reason why. They don't want that to be like the fear or the expectation, is that a bunch of guys are going to show up here from other countries, and if they're half a pound or whatever over their weight limit, they're just cooked and they can't compete. So I can maybe actually understand why they would be a little bit lax with some of the standards. Now, the other side of that is, well, they shouldn't be, because if you're going to have rules, enforce them. But I can totally see a rationale for why they wouldn't be like crazy strict about it. So with Mike, I really think he's just becoming the face of this height and weight thing, because of the fact that when you look at this update and you look at Mike's physique and really any of his updates, he is one of the most muscular guys in classic physique. I think that's a fact at this point. And with at a minimum, with a possible 8-pound advantage because of the height. That's a minimum. If he only moves down one height class, that's the minimum poundage that he's gaining. If he moves down another one, we're talking about like almost 20 pounds. And so I think it just applies especially to Mike, because it's like, is this why he looks the way he looks? Because maybe he's getting an advantage that he shouldn't in classic, and that's why he's starting to look like a 212 bodybuilder. But again, it's like, what do you really want to see happen? Because I feel like people are pretty bloodthirsty with Mike right now. And it's like, so if Mike comes in and misses weight, what do you want to see happen? Does anybody really want to see Mike get disqualified? Or is it more that we just want to see guys get measured accurately and then, follow those rules? So I guess my question to you guys is, if this conspiracy theory worst case scenario situation happens, if they measure Mike and he is shorter and he's now in a different weight class for the Olympia and he misses weight, what should happen is the question. Should he just be disqualified immediately? You can't compete at all? Should they say, okay, you have 6 hours to try to fix this? Should it not be an hour? Should they have like a window of time to say, you can try to hit this weight. You've got 6 hours. If you don't hit it, then you're out. Or should they do it like a fight? Like sometimes when a fighter misses weight, they can pay a penalty out of their purse if they win. So could they say like, look, we'll let you compete anyway. You're a little bit over. But if you win any prize money, you got to pay 15% penalty or something like that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, we got another update from Keone Pearson just now, him and Patrick Tuor. And I don't really think there's anything left to say about Keone. I saw someone in the comments of this post say game over. I feel like that's really the only analysis I have to offer for this update. Keone is unbelievably good. Unbelievably good. And I guess the only other thing I would say is I just want to repeat the same thing that I said in the last video that we covered Keone. I really think if Keone was allowed to compete in both 212 and open, the same Olympia, 2 different divisions, I think Keone would shock the world. So like what I'm saying is, without an off season, without downtime, without trying to grow into open, I think Keone can do what probably no other 212 Mr. Olympia could do. I think at 212, as a 212 bodybuilder, Keone could walk off stage from 212 on to open bodybuilding and be top 6 at least. And I know that sounds like just glazing Keone, but I'm not. Like, dead serious, I think he would. This is without a doubt, even in 212, this is one of the craziest, best physiques in the world. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's going to wrap it up for the video so far. I'm going to post a couple more videos today, so subscribe and stay tuned for that. Make sure you like the video. Click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.